Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Dice Tower Board Game Breakfast. I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
And we are here to talk about all kinds of things. We're going to start right away with a contest here, and that's for this gigantic box next to us, the Colossus Base and Expansion Pledge. Expansion for Mosaic, a very, very good Civilization game. I really like this game. Check out our review. And then the expansion Wars and is it Wars and... Wars and Disaster. Oh, I thought you were saying I was giving away the answer for a moment. I was like, what is the second word in the title of the expansion? No. So you need to email us at contest@dicetower.com, and in the subject line put the word red, just like something we talked about in Board Game Smorgasbord last week.
Wait, like I read a book or read like the color?
It's on the screen.
Oh, it's on the screen.
Okay. Then answer this question in the body. What is the new denomination of coin included in the Wars and Disasters expansion? I don't know the answer to that.
10,000 euros.
And you also need to put your address in there so we know where to send the game if you win. So good luck and God bless. We're done. Okay, no, also, Dice Tower East. The room block is almost sold out. Sharon told me it was 99% sold out. I guess that's a legit almost thing, right?
You could be the 1%, is what Tom's saying.
Also,
you could be almost legit.
You can sign up for Dice Tower West, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower Cruise, although I would imagine the cruise is closing in a week or so. So don't mess around on any of these, honestly, because they will all sell out. We'd love to see you at each of these conventions next year. Also, there was something I wanted to talk about. Yes, Dice Tower Digest. If you would like to get a newsletter from us where we tell you things like, hey, this is happening, this is going on, this Kickstarter's starting, or whatever it might be, then you want to subscribe to that. The newsletter goes out every other week, and we will not give your address to anyone else. It's just for that. And on that note, if you did back our Kickstarter and you haven't filled out your GameFound pledge, stop this video and go fill it out now, because we're closing that at the end of this week, and we have everything. We're ready to ship. We're ready to ship the stuff. I'm not saying shipping's happening until like probably next month, but we're ready to go. We need to get it all together. We spent a lot of time packing promos.
We did.
We did.
Now, for anyone who's saying, well, you're sitting on the stuff, why not ship it? That's on your end. Fill out the all of this stuff.
Also, we are sending it to different shipping companies so that it can be sent.
Yes.
Also, get your friend to fill out theirs if they haven't filled out theirs and they're not watching the show.
The sooner they're filled out, the sooner we can distribute it to the shipping companies, and then the sooner they can distribute that to you.
All right, so that's all the announcements, I think. I got some cool stuff. I'll talk about that in Dice Tower Productions. But first, let's go to these contributors.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Maple University. Tarrant, ding 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 ding. Well, this is technically James Bond is featured there, but mainly the villains.
Yes, is this just James Bond villainous? That is one of the questions.
Is it? I don't think so because
it is not.
Yeah. So what is it?
It does actually have a little bit of similarity, perhaps, because you do have, so you're playing as the villains from Bond, and each villain is unique and has a number of different schemes in a row to sort of unlock. But it is not a retheme of villainous. It is its own game.
It's quite a fun game actually. We played 3 players, probably more fun than 2 players, where we need to do area control. Essentially, we need to complete our secret plans.
It's got a little bit of everything. It's got simple worker placement, simple area control. It's got a blind bid for missions where everyone's got to meet a certain objective, but then whoever commits the most gets some additional rewards. And then some nice random stuff where James Bond comes in and...
ruin our villain plans.
Yes. Yes, there's a nice mechanism where, of course, as the evil villain, you explain your plan to Bond, and that reveals it to all the other players and makes it worth less points.
That's correct. We had fun with this. It's a little bit random, but I think this is one to look at. This is by Modifius Entertainment. Yeah. I believe this is a new release from them.
Yeah, it's got some nice theme to it. I think you can have a good Bond evening with it.
And that's it. Thanks for watching.
What is up? My name is Matthew McCack, and this is Smashing Buttons and Slamming Cards. This is a segment where I talk about a video game I love and I connect it to a board game I love. And oh my goodness, it has been a hot minute since I've been here. I am so sorry. I love making these videos. I've just been so busy lately. But I am here today, and I'm continuing on with my Top 1 series where I talk about some sort of genre in the video game hobby, and I say my number 1 board game for that video game genre. Today, I'm talking about open world video gaming. These are games that have some sort of main storyline going on, and you're going on through the storyline, but you can also explore the world as you see fit and see this like living, breathing world. Really good video games will make it feel like it's this living, breathing world. But you could go on side quests and all this stuff, and talk to different NPCs and things like that. My number 1 board game for this genre is Sleeping Gods. Sleeping Gods is by Ryan Lockett. I love the artwork and the design of this game. This has the open book style adventure that Ryan Lockett is sort of known for, I guess, at this point. And it has that open world feel to it where you could use your ship and you're exploring around. You don't quite know what you're doing, where you are, why you're where you are. And you can only really figure that out by exploring the world itself. And it's a campaign style game, but you can replay it because there's things that you've missed. You know, maybe you didn't collect all the totems you were supposed to collect, but now there's been unlocked things as you continue on with your, I guess, quest and main story and everything. But I love it. It really comes through. It feels like this living, breathing world as you go through it and talking to the different NPCs. All your choices matter in this game. It is just really special. This is a special game. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like, you can check out mine and my brother's channel called Room 51. I'll catch you next time.
Something.
All right, today, and I'm pulling this up right now, we're talking about Roller Coaster Tycoon, the board game. Talking about games from 20 years ago. We might have talked about this in like a look back or something like that.
I thought I remember talking about building incomplete roller coasters and sending people to their death, Tom.
I wonder if this was in relation to something else that
It might have
wasn't
been in
specifically this
relationship to
game.
something
Because I do
else.
remember
I
talking
do remember having
about,
a conversation. It wasn't long ago.
because I played
Yeah.
Railroad Tycoon and I mentioned that.
But it was not from Roller Coaster Tycoon. This was a game that I expected to be terrible because it's from Hasbro. Craig Van Ness was involved with it. Craig Van Ness does the, he's actually, I think, the lead designer on the current Hero-scape project that's going on.
Okay.
And he and Rob Davio worked together a lot on different things. Roller Coaster Tycoon was a roll and move game, but it was a roll and move in the sense that you have a bunch of...
It wasn't a roll and coast?
It was a bunch of pawns, and you get to roll and move any of them. So then you would be building rides, and you're trying to make the different people go to your rides. And then there was auctions on the different rides, and all the rides were three-dimensional. Well, not all of them, but a lot of the big rides were three-dimensional looking rides. It was a very simple game, but I really liked it. Well, I shouldn't say really liked it. I liked it fine. What did I? Let's see what I've rated it before I say I really liked it.
You surprisingly liked it, I think is what is, still impressive. For
How do you see what you've given a rating on a game?
Is this on the main page? You have to scroll down.
I gave it a
ever so slightly.
6.5. 6.5.
Okay.
Which
not
means almost
terrible.
good. Again, because I don't think it's aged particularly well. I still wish there were more games about building theme parks. I don't think there's enough. I've built a whole section in the library just for this purpose.
There is. There's almost a whole shelf.
Because
like
yes,
half a shelf.
but it still feels. I still have yet to play the ultimate theme park building game. I want one that's like Suburbia, but a theme park.
Okay.
I'm not designing it. That's not how my life works.
See, I want a marble theme park game where you're building a roller coaster and you have to get that marble to not fall off the track.
They made that.
Do they?
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Well,
It's actually in look back this week.
oh, you know what? I remember that.
And
'cause our
somebody's
kid's
rating
friend
of it
played that
has
a bunch.
dropped considerably because it
Timely.
doesn't work. Actually, there's been rumors that game will be remade.
You need ball bearings.
I've heard that for
That's the secret, right?
a little bit now, and I would be very happy if that actually got reworked because there were some like physical issues with it. Actually, a lot of physical issues with it. But yeah, I would want a theme park the board game. And so what you're telling me, Tom, is go on eBay and find every copy of Roller Coaster Tycoon I can find.
No, but it's not a bad game to have. I don't think I would put it in our library, just because I don't think anyone would pull it off and play it. But I was very pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed it. So anyway,
Okay.
Siri, buy 10,000 copies of Roller Coaster Tycoon.
you didn't say hey. Anyway, that's from 20 years ago.
This isn't an iPhone.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're talking about Ready, Set, Bet. This is a horse racing game. It's a horse racing simulation. People are trying to bet on everything as fast as possible in real time, trying to bet for the best possible spots, who they think is going to win the game, what horse is going to win the game, and then you are betting on that, trying to get as much money as possible. You play 4 rounds. Whoever has the most money at the end of it wins the game. All right, so one of the things we like to do is we like to talk about things that we're trying to do to be healthier people. Well, one of the things you can do is race. Sometimes racing is not always convenient for our schedules, or even the price tag. But if you were interested in doing something that is maybe a little bit outside the box,
And self-paced.
yes, self-paced, maybe you're shy or whatever the case is, there's this really cool thing called the Conqueror.
Yes, Conqueror virtual challenges. So they're really fun and cool, and they're all self-paced. You sign up for them, and then you decide how long it's going to take you to get things. And then you follow this map. It's through an app, and I really like it, and it's really fun. And when you complete it, they send you like this super cool medal. But I did mine, I just was walking. I wasn't running. I just wanted to start, this was like 4 or 5 months ago. I just wanted to start walking again because I just got out of the habit of it. And so it was fun to see my mileage like progress on there as I'm getting closer and closer. I'm getting out of the Shire and I'm walking through and all the different things that happen in the story.
The whole thing's Lord of the Rings themed, which
Yeah,
makes it so
yeah.
much easier for nerds like us
Yes,
to want to
yes.
be interactive with it.
But it was really fun, and it's self-paced. Like I said, they give you, when do you think that you'll be able to finish this? And you can adjust it if like something happens in life, but I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun doing it, and there's a set of Lord of the Rings series challenges that go with that. So if that's something that interests you, now you know it exists.
Speaking of really fun, oh my gosh, Ready, Set, Bet is an adrenaline-pumping good time. As you're watching this race unfold of all these horses, and you're just kind of screaming and shouting, and oh no, what's going to happen? Yes. Oh, the 3 horses running. Oh no, the 12 horses pulling ahead. Oh, what's going to happen? And you're just heart is pumping. This is like the most exciting real-time game I've played in a long time.
Yeah, I love this game. I want everybody to play this game. I want my library to buy this game. In fact, I need to email the person to see if they can buy this game because it is that good. I feel like this is a game that just really needs to be in the hands of everybody, not just gamers, but like everybody. Somebody at work was talking to me about how her and her husband used to do these poker nights, but they just can't do them anymore. And I'm like, Ready, Set, Bet. You need this game. You'll get that same feel without spending any money. It is so much fun.
You guys, thanks for watching. If you want to hear more from us, you want to go to Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. We are on YouTube and Facebook. Everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Assalamu alaikum. For Ticket to Ride, there is an achievement chart now available from one of the BGG file users made. What it is going to give you is, in same like Xbox like fashion, it is going to give you some achievements which you can try to achieve. So for example, were you able to claim the longest route? Were you able to connect the maximum cities? Were you able to get these many points and get that achievement? Once you claim that achievement, you are not going to be able to claim that again. Maybe you want to try and claim some other achievement. There is an overall claim tracker as well for how many achievements you have claimed. Based on that, you're going to get different kind of star ratings. So if you are interested in that kind of competitiveness where you are tracking your accomplishments in the game, then get this file from the BGG file section. That's it from me. Happy gaming.
All right, so I'm going to start with the biggest thing that I'm really excited about this week, and that is on Thursday, in our top 10 slot, we're going to be picking the best publisher of all time. When I say we mean you. So we have 64 publishers, which unfortunately is not enough. But we use some criteria to narrow it down to 64 publishers, and we're going to come in and we're going to let you all vote on that. We're very curious to see what you all will pick.
These live voting shows are a lot of fun. They're a lot of work behind the scenes and everything, but they're very fun, so I'd like to see what people think is the best.
Invite your
publisher.
friends.
Sure.
You have a favorite publisher you want to push? Come on in Thursday and we'll do that. But before Thursday, we got lots of other live stuff. 46 minutes from now, Z is going to be doing What's Happening. And today's app, the one we just reviewed, Marvel Snap.
Oh, baby.
Then at noon, I'll be doing a Q&A. Tomorrow morning, we'll have part 2 of our Disney Sorcerer's Arena Championship.
Who's playing in that one this time?
Mike versus Z, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
Mike versus Z.
Which means you're going up against Camilla next week.
I'll bring the knives.
Roy has been eliminated from the tournament.
I destroyed him.
And
On
let's see. And then other live stuff on Wednesday. We have the Delicio Factor. Do you know what you're playing? Not yet.
I'll figure it out.
We'll
I
have to
haven't
figure
heard
it
of
out.
that game before.
And crowd surfing. Lots of cool games on crowd surfing to look at this week. Some really interesting things. And then on Thursday, we got Board Game Smorgasbord. On Friday, we are doing a live play of On the Underground. Very excited about that. And the new version of it, there's 2 new maps. We'll be playing New York.
Ooh, Escape from New York.
No, that's a very different thing. And then all kinds of reviews going up this week. The big one at the end of the week, we have Heat from Days of Wonder, Teletum from Board and Dice. Oh, also, we have 2 games from Board and Dice this week, right?
They're doing Terracotta Army as well.
Terracotta Army. We also have the new shocking out of nowhere Monolith from CMON. We have Basket Boss, Green Team Wins, Helsinki.
Federation?
And then me and Chris are going to be reviewing 100 million three expansions. It's just 3.
For Dominion.
For
which
Dominion.
is approximately 100 million cards.
It's 27, actually.
27 unique cards, but
Yeah.
not actual cards in the game.
Times 10. Times a couple million.
270. I can do that math.
This card, these are the same cards, but this one's a second down in that. Anyway.
But this card lets me get this card.
Lots of stuff coming your way from us this week, so check all that out. If you want to listen to the audio versions of much of this stuff,
Yes.
you can find that where?
DTV Audio on any podcast subscription.
Alrighty.
Also, remember on Tuesday, the Sorcerer's Arena competition is sponsored by our bag giveaway.
That's right.
yes,
Yeah,
that's
you can get
exciting.
that. There's a big bag giveaway on our website. Win a whole bag of games. Why would you not want that? I mean, the games are amazing, but you also get the bag, which
bag
is
is
my
awesome.
favorite bag ever. So, now let's keep moving.
Good morning, Board Game Breakfast. My name is Amanda Polk, and while I'm usually here talking about games I'm looking forward to playing in the future and what I'm playing in the meantime, I am here today to talk about some of those games I was looking forward to and how it was after I finally got to play them. So this week, talking about Marvel Dice Throne. And as you can see above me, there's a hole in my wall where the Dice Throne would go. And in fact, I have enjoyed Marvel Dice Throne so much that I have set free seasons 1 and 2 for other people to enjoy. And Marvel is going to be the version of Dice Throne that I hold on to. I just think this is a really fun game. I don't usually like sort of like really like in your face, take that, I'm beating you kind of games. But this one, I think partially just because it's so short and because it's so like upfront, like we're fighting, we're rolling dice. I punch you, you punch me, someone falls down. But have really enjoyed this one. I love the way they take the characters and really truly turn them into like great thematic little games themselves. The way the game works, the artwork is great. The components are wonderful. I've yet to play it with somebody who didn't enjoy it. And so this is one that I'm really happy about. Marvel Dice Throne certainly was worth the wait. Hope you're having a great breakfast. Talk to you later. Bye.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP. I tell you the IP and the mechanisms match. Today we're looking at Motley Fool's Buy Low, Sell High. Motley Fool's Buy Low, Sell High is very easy to play. At the beginning of the game, you will start with 1 stock of each type. On your turn, you can buy no stock, 1 of each type, or 2 of the same type. You always pay the price underneath the stock that you're purchasing. Then you will play a card from your hand. These cards will do different things. They can either increase or decrease the stock price at the end of the round. You can make people pay fees, or $2 per stock that they own, or you may gain dividends at the end of the trading stock. So the whole game is about trying to buy, as the game says, stock at a low price and be able to sell it back at a higher price. Each of the players will play cards to try to help out their stock and hurt their enemy stock. And that's how you play buy low and sell high. The Motley Fool is a stock market advisement group, and what they do is they advise people on stocks to purchase or perhaps sell, which is what you're doing in this game. You're simply buying and selling stocks. You want to buy them at a lower price and sell them at a higher price, but the players are going to be playing cards to dictate those prices, and Lady Luck may play into this a little bit. But I feel like the IP and the mechanisms do match together. They want to teach the Motley Fool about introductory stock market exchanges, about buying these stocks and how to manipulate them to make them higher and lower, and buying and selling at those prices. And I think it really accomplishes that. If you want to teach somebody about introduction to stock market, this might be a great place to start. And I think that's what they were trying to accomplish by bringing the IP in and bringing this board game together. And in a lot of ways, I think they nailed it. The components are nice. The rule set is simple. And if you wanted to teach the basics of stock market, I think you could accomplish it here. And I think that makes the IP and the mechanisms match almost perfectly. And at first, I was kind of like, I don't know if this IP is going to work with this segment. But I have to tell you, it really does. It's off the beaten path a little bit. I think most of us may not be as familiar with it as we would, say, Fast and Furious or Harry Potter or something different. But my gosh, this is one of the closest IPs and mechanisms that I have seen yet. So if in that case, it's a win.
All right, folks. We always take a look at one of the shelves of the Dice Tower Library, and we talk about our favorite game on that shelf. So here is Shelf 1E. All right, on Shelf 1E, we have the first big, although it would be considered small by today's standards, Kickstarter dice placement game, Alien Frontiers. Good game, but for some reason, very much not talked about these days. Then the Whistle Duo, which are two very, very different games. We have Whistle Stop, which is a game about trains, and connecting and doing routes. And then Whistle Mountain, which has almost nothing to do with it. There's a whistle resource in it, but it's about building a big dam and a really interesting worker placement game. Black Orchestra is a game about the plot to overthrow Hitler, and the failed plot to overthrow Hitler. And in this game, you're trying to succeed. And then the rest of the shelf is all Days of Wonder. We have Yamatai, the follow-up to Five Tribes, not as popular as Five Tribes, from Bruno Catala. Shadows over Camelot, the first cooperative game with a traitor. Small World of Warcraft, just like Small World, and then Small World right here. These two games, almost the same game, but one with a different theme. Quadropolis, a tile-laying city game, or city tiling, whatever. Colosseum here, one of my favorite games, one of the most underrated games on this shelf, about throwing on shows in ancient Rome. Pirates Cove and Mystery of the Abbey. Both of these games are fairly old games, and this one's about to be remade, Mystery of the Abbey. But it's going to be hard for them to outdo this particular one. Pirates Cove is, a pretty light family game about going around and looking for treasure and burying it. Deep Blue, which I pretty much hate, but has some really beautiful artwork. Sort of a push your luck game, but you can push other people's luck. The River, this is the most forgettable of all the Days of Wonder games, unfortunately, but a very, very, very simple kind of worker placement style game. And then the most popular currently of the Days of Wonder games, other than maybe Ticket to Ride, which is on its own shelf, is Five Tribes, a Bruno Catala game that showed that he could make a heavier game just as well as he could make light games. Mm-hmm. All right, a lot of really cool games on this shelf. I like Days of Wonder a lot.
Clearly. You even have Deep Blue on there.
I mean, it doesn't have a whole shelf of Days of Wonder, so.
Well, again, we moved Ticket to Ride to another shelf, Memoirs on another shelf.
He doesn't have a whole shelf of Days of Wonder.
He has a whole shelf of just Ticket to Ride.
That's true.
That's true. He has two shelves.
As much as I love Days of Wonder, and I really like a lot of games here, Colosseum is probably my favorite of the Days of Wonder ones on this list. I know everyone else loves Five Tribes. And I really like Small World. Whistle Mountain is my favorite game here, easily. I really like that worker placement game. It's such a good game.
I liked Whistle Stop a lot.
They have nothing to do with each other.
No
not
stocks,
even a litter.
None of that.
I like Whistle Stop fine. I'm a big fan of the whole build, although I would argue that with Whistle Stop, ironically, you need the mountain expansion, which confuses things even more.
Oh my gosh, You're right.
Yep.
So I like that expansion a lot. I think that's one of the few expansions I think makes the game better. But also, if you say Whistle Stop, I'll be like, man, I like Whistle Mountain so much, and then I want to play it. It's a weird thing.
It's interesting that you put Whistle Stop there to be next to Whistle Mountain, but you didn't put it with the train stuff.
I don't have a train shelf, do I?
I mean, your 11 is kind of.
Yeah, but those are the heavy. I mean, Whistle Stop can be
It's
played
not
by a lot of
heavy.
people.
It's not
No,
heavy.
Whistle Stop is like the perfect mix, I think, between like an approachable Euro game, but also like a train game.
You need a train shelf.
It's like half heavy train, but half Metro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, Wendy and I both missed out on playing Whistle Mountain. It came out, I think, at this perfect time where we weren't really going to our game cafe, so we weren't playing a lot of the new games.
Yeah.
It was big before we moved here for the job, and so it was one of those like, oh, I should get around to playing that. It came out a little bit ago.
It was big right in early 2020.
Yeah, it was that ambiguous year for us.
Yeah,
of
so
games.
I've looked at it many a time and thought I should take it home and play it.
Now,
I really think I will.
Black Orchestra is one that I enjoyed, and I actually didn't know a lot of that history before playing it.
You know, despite the fact that that's one of my most fascinating subjects, I think I've never played Black Orchestra.
Oh, yeah?
Oh.
Yeah, it's just one I haven't got around to playing.
It's neat. It's good. It's not like a knockout amazing co-op game, but it is very solid and very good. But oh man, it's the game I think I played, and then I said, I'm going to read several books on this topic now. I'm going to go read a lot about it.
I think the movie's also very good. And it's
Valkyrie.
not perfect, and Tom Cruise doesn't look German at all.
No one in the movie
Yeah, I've not seen the
sounds
movie.
German. You have Tom Cruise's American accent talking with Anthony Hopkins, and they're both Germans.
But it's still a really good movie. It's very heartbreaking, almost in a sense, because you're like, it's weird. You're rooting for assassination to happen, you know.
Yeah.
But assassination of Hitler. So I mean, that's a legit
It's
thing to root for.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the game is it's a complex kind of a thing. My favorite is Five Tribes of what I've played, but there's a lot of good on here.
It's good stuff, yeah. I love Five Tribes. Oh, if I had to pick a favorite,
You do.
it'd probably as well be Five Tribes, though Whistle Stop is close.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Alien Frontiers. That used to be everyone's favorite game, and now it's like totally.
Also one that we haven't played.
Really?
Yeah, we haven't. And Small World, I'm very meh about Small World.
Small World's a great game. But again, I might. If you're gonna play Small World, don't play the one on this shelf. Play my
play your
play my
fancy one.
deluxe one, because
I
that
don't
one
even know why
is
you have this one
amazing.
anymore.
I should probably not.
When you need a new Days of Wonder game, what's going to go? The River or Small World?
Or Deep Blue.
You really hate Deep Blue. I also hate Deep Blue, but all right, let's move on.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen the Board Game Librarian, flipping some pages and pushing some cubes with my segment from the page to the table where I pair books, and sometimes comic books, with board games that share a common theme. Woo! And magic happens. So if you're like me, you want more Thrawn content. You want more Thrawn everywhere. So this is a somewhat recent comic book that was done by Marvel, and this is some of his origin story that's going on in here. I enjoyed this one just because I'm dying for more Thrawn content, and shamefully I have not read the new Timothy Zahn ones. I have read Heir to the Empire though. And it's really cool kind of seeing some of his background. You see Governor Price, if you've seen Rebels, and how they interact and how they're going along with each other. So there's a bunch of different Star Wars games I could have put with this, but one that we do like a lot in our house is Star Wars Dark Side Rising. So 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, 45-minute playing time. So this is part of the Rising system. So this is no like Ticket to Ride, where pick your poison, I guess, whichever IP you're most tempted by. But Thrawn does show up in here as a character that you are meant to defeat. Do I have to though? Really? Just so these are great because I think just find them a lot of fun. I find all of the Rising games very engaging. Sometimes they come down to the wire. And the artwork is often fun. There's always a little twist on each Rising game. So yeah, you gotta collect them all, right, I guess. So that's this week, Thrawn. And we'll see you next week, friends. Happy breakfast.
Hey, Board Gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back on the breakfast. This time talking about a small box game, Sweet and Spicy from Heidelberg Games. Let's get right to the table and see how it plays. In Sweet and Spicy, the object of the game is to score as many points as possible, of course, and you do that by getting rid of all the cards in your hand. So it's a card shedder, but what you're doing is if you get rid of them before anybody else, you get one of these 10-point trophies, and that's also one of the game end triggers. The points that you win can also come from winning challenges. That's right, this is a hidden card game. In other words, you take the card out of your hand and you declare that I am playing the 7 lemon. And if everybody else believes you, they'll leave you alone. But if anybody challenges that and they say either the suit or the number is wrong, and that's all you have to do if you're the challenger, you have to say one or the other. Let's say I've said this is the 7 lemon and someone else says, no, that's is not a 7. We flip it over and yes, it was a 7. The winner gets all the cards in the stack. That's a point for every card and 5 points if anyone played a wild card in there. The loser has to take 2 more cards, which means they're that much further away from winning the game. Now, there is some cool lineup here. From what I understand, the developers of the game added these wild cards. And what I like about them is the timing. They're negative points if they're stuck in your hand. It's negative 5 points. They're positive 5 points if someone wins them. So you want to play them because they're strong, but they also give someone else a chance to get 5 points. The other thing about those wild cards is when to play them. Normally, if you're the last card if you've played the last card in your hand, you get a trophy, but not if it's one of the wild cards. You get 5 more cards. That's a juicy decision to think about. All right, that's Sweet and Spicy, a fun little card game for 2 to 6 players. It only takes about 15 minutes, and it's got that cool lanyap, those wild cards that really have a juicy decision about when to play them. Until next time, les ailes, bon temps roulé.
All right, today I'm going to review a podcast. People always ask me what I listen to. That's not board game podcast.
Was it Maple Overboard?
No, it was not a board game podcast.
You listen to our old podcast? That's so nice, Tom.
I don't listen to old stuff. I do, although that is something I want to go back and listen to old podcasts sometimes just to see what people talked about.
Back then.
Like, ooh, I wish there was a game like this. I'm like, there is! Definitely.
Oh,
like, even our old podcasts, we've done that. I'm like, man, I wish there was more games about nature. I probably never said that, but, whatever. Anyway.
But you would not be disappointed now.
This is a podcast that a friend of mine recommended to me, and I started listening to, and it's called the Magnus Archives. The Magnus Archives is one of the podcasts from a bigger company called the Rusty Quill. As a side note, I listened to another pirate adventure dramatization from the Rusty Quill because they're like, fun for the whole family. Listened to it, and I was like, it was fine, but there's a lot of action, and it's hard to listen to action.
Yeah.
But the Magnus Archives is a horror podcast, which I hate horror. For the most part.
I've seen you at Universal Horror Nights, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't like jump scares. I don't like blood and guts. And I don't like torture. I mean, I really don't like torture. I don't want to watch torture. I don't like any of that stuff. The Magnus Archives it's a 5-season series. I'm reviewing it after listening to season 1. So
Okay.
there was 40 episodes in season 1. I've gone through those 40, and I also listened to a Q&A. It's the main character's name is Jonathan Sims, and he works for the Magnus organization, and he works in the archive section. He's a head archivist there, and people come in. Well, basically, he's come there, and his predecessor died, and she just has a mess. So he's cleaning up her mess, and people would come in and they would write statements. If there was something happened and you thought it was supernatural, you write the statement out. So he reads these statements. He's recording them on a tape recorder for some. There's a whole reason why he's using a tape recorder, not modern recording. So he reads a story in each one. It's a short. It's like you're listening to someone read a short story. There's no dramatization. It's just him reading. He's an excellent reader because he's playing this really dry, very dry guy, but who then, when he reads, he puts a lot of expression in the stories. So I don't know if I buy that this archivist would do that. But as this, so
have
each
you watched a librarian read?
Yeah,
to children.
As the episodes go by, they're very, very simple short stories. They range from 15 to 25 minutes, maybe at the most. Okay. And the horror of them is the horror of the unknown. almost always. You know, something happened, and most of the time, I'm not too nervous listening to them because the person is writing it down. So I'm like, they're still alive.
Right?
Sure.
Okay, but everyone that they are talking about may not have. But I would compare it to Edgar Allan Poe, to Cthulhu. They're really well written. They're really well done, and it's just creepy horror. Really creepy stuff.
They're like Goosebumps.
Yeah, for adults.
For adults.
But
yeah.
and at the end, the guy will be like, well, that was probably the ravings of a madman. But we looked into it and we found out that this happened and this happened. And that's the part where you're like, ooh.
Some of it could
you know,
be
the security
real.
camera showed nothing. I really like it. And as the season goes by, you suddenly realize there's a more overall arching theme going on. And it all culminates in an actual full cast, action-packed thing for the final things. It was like around episode 10 where he's recording and someone interrupts him. And then also a character from one shows up in another one. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And
that's cool.
And now I've listened to the first couple episodes of season 2, and it's going even more. So I listened to his Q&A. He already has the finale. He says he hates shows that don't finale. And it's also all done, too. I'm pretty sure it's finished because they're currently kickstarting season 2, another one. And I think the ones I was listening to came out in 2016, 5 series, so probably 2021.
Like he's doing a different horror
That's like
series?
it's the same thing, Magnus Archives, I guess, part 2, but apparently everything. I don't want any spoilers.
Like part 2 season 1, part 2 season 2, part 2, like that. Okay.
But I mean, there's 5 seasons, but each season I'm assuming has a finale, but there's like one overall finale. But I really like it.
You're selling me on this one.
It is creepy enough that I will not. I listen to it when I drive back into from work. If it is dark and I'm alone, I will not listen to it because I just get scared easy.
I'm almost done with the Wheel of Time, so maybe I'll look into this after.
But otherwise, I don't mind at all. But it is the best of this pod. It's the best non-board gaming podcast I've ever listened to. I think I like it that much.
Okay.
And each story is really different. Like if you have a fear of being alone, fear of falling, fear of spiders, fear of whatever. Each one is, it builds on that fear. A guy goes out hunting. Who's the hunter? That sort of thing. And I really find that to be fascinating and interesting. There's not a lot of jump scares. I was about to say there's never a jump scare. There was once. But it's mostly because someone came in while he was talking and he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, and I'm just sitting there listening to his story. That scared the crap out of me. That's not necessarily a jump scare, but just like what? But it's fantastic. That's called the Magnus Archives. I'd give it a 10 out of 10. That's how much I like it.
Wow, that much.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm here to talk to you about Dog Lover from AEG. Now, you might be thinking, hang on, they've released Cat Lady and this game looks quite similar. And to be honest, they are quite similar games. You are still taking cards from a central market where you're taking a row or column at the start. And you can only take one card from the row that's being watched by the watchdog. That makes that central market quite an interesting choice, and even when it's refilled, it often means you can't take all of the brand new cards. Then you can get new dog tricks that allow you to take from different parts of the market. So instead of just a row or column, you might be able to take sort of a Tetris L shape, or maybe just a bit of a splattering of the cards rather than just a solid column, and that's going to give you more choices as you're trying to get these cool dog cards, trying to get the food to feed them, because otherwise they're going to lose you points. No one wants an underfed dog. You need to look after them. You can get bonus points for taking them on walks, and then there's a set collection of favourite things. So some great choices in what is a nice artworked game. It looks really nice. The majority of the sort of cards are really intuitive. Like you instantly know what's a medium-sized dog or a small or big dog, and these traits that only go with certain sizes. That's nice and simple. Full of choices, that central market that really drives how you're playing. Really fun game. I would really recommend it. If you liked Cat Lady, you'll probably like Dog Lover, and then you can work out which side you're on, cats or dogs. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
Hi, I'm Jordan, and I like to talk about little games, and this is Marvel Remix. This is a take on Fantasy Realms. I love Fantasy Realms. I think it's really great, but I think one of the things that really, you know, kind of brought it down a couple points for me was I thought the theme was super boring, and I thought the artwork was also really bad. And so I was just really looking forward to this one coming out because I do like Marvel stuff, and this one just had a much better look to it, hoping that it would kind of match the original game and gameplay, and I think this one really does. Same kind of gameplay as basic Fantasy Realms, you know, draw a card, discard a card, trying to create the best set of hands, that kind of thing. And it just, it has a lot of different thematic elements to it. It has a nice balance of like Avengers type heroes, X-Men type heroes, kind of street level type Marvel heroes and villains and all that kind of good stuff. And I think as you're playing the game, it does have some of that luck that Fantasy Realms does. I mean, it's a short game, but sometimes you just won't get the card that you want and that kind of thing. But this one works really cool because I think by the end of the game, you have like your own little comic book story, you know, like, so for instance, by the end of the game, you might have Captain America comes across Black Cat, who is, you know, traveling from place to place, and in order to catch up, you find Heimdall, and then you take the Bifrost over back to Earth to Stark Tower, and you use your vibranium shield to take down Black Cat. You know, that kind, like at the end of the game, you got this hand of cards, and you just kind of you go through it with your friends, and you kind of talk about kind of what was your comic series, story there. And I thought, I really enjoy that. I mean, you add the theme to the game. It's just kind of numbers on cards, that kind of stuff. But I think this one really works. I've really enjoyed it. And if you like Fantasy Realms but wanted something a little different, check this one out too. Marvel Remix. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
And that's it for another Board Game Breakfast. We'll be back in 19 minutes with Z playing What's Happening. And then I'll be back at noon. We got lots of things to record, lots of stuff to get done, so we're going to get jumping onto that. We'll see you, well, very soon. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Have fun playing nature games.
Yay!
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.